class.
Je les trouve, ils sont carrément en train de. Non. Attends, mais pourquoi tu caches entre le visage ou quoi? Attendez, vous allez le voir sur les réseaux sociaux. Et bordel.
Obviously, like, we're not getting that funding source, so discussing what other routes we might be able to take, as well as just, you know, if additional mental health resources or additional help for, you know, this population, is it going to be feasible via, you know, that method that I propose, and like what are some other routes we can take to try to help meet that need. So, you know, as I told you before, we did have that grant application for the State Farm Neighborhood Assist grant. We don't find out whether or not we make it to the next round of consideration until the week of April 18th. And then even then, let's say like all the stars align, we make it to the next round, and we even like win one of the awards, you know, realistically that gives us enough money for 1 year. And so even if everything works out that way, we do still need to be planning ahead as far as like what are some sustainable and continual methods of funding something like this, you know, especially since this would be a position that you want to carry on, not just like kind of a one-time expense. And so ultimately, yeah, very emotional conversation with them, but with this, what they kind of reminded Gabby and I about, because Gabby has been doing incredible work as director of athletic affairs, is that, you know, as students, we eventually kind of leave this place. And because of that, sometimes it can feel like if things don't get accomplished while we're still here, then they're just straight not accomplished. And, you know, they reminded us that this work of trying to bring further attention to, you know, the ongoing kind of mental health issues with our student athletes and what they're facing, and trying to give them resources. That's work that Andrea and Christine have been working on for years now. And they'll continue to work hard on it. And, you know, that our efforts aren't for nothing, and they have made a big difference. And so, you know, as I wrap up my thesis, as it ties into this, it's, you know, it's not only addressing how this proposal I made would help with that need, but also looking at like other resources we have readily available and the types that are going to incur additional costs. You know, what can we do to also help meet this need? So, then, you know, there's still things to be done, but they really emphasize that it's meant a lot to have somebody outside of athletics who's not a student athlete themselves, to have MISG as a whole just helping bring light to the issues that they are facing, because there is this common perception that athletics is flush with cash, or that, you know, their student athletes are over pampered, and, you know, they're taken care of better than everybody else, but that's not necessarily the case. A lot of them really are struggling, and so they said that it's meant a lot to have further attention, you know, brought to this, besides just, you know, them reiterating what they've said for years, is that they do need more help here. So I guess I just always like to really reiterate that, you know, it's an issue that I hope, you know, we'll continue on with, and yeah, you know, dedicated most of my time to it. And so anyways, I do plan to attend the next Student Athlete Advisory Council meeting on the 5th, just as a continuation of that work and getting some more qualitative data, because I do have quantitative data as far as some of the attitudes and behaviors when it comes to mental health services utilization from this population. But as far as like having that qualitative data of being able to ask them, like, what do you see as the biggest barriers for student athletes seeking help, and then what are the barriers to them actually receiving it? Because even just getting up to seek it in the first place is already a really big hurdle to try to cross. So I'll be able to, have that conversation with them, and I'm looking forward to that and how that can further inform this work. And then other items, Board of Regents breakfast is next week, so as usual, we're gonna kind of meet and talk with the other two Regent University student governments this Friday via Zoom to see if, there's any kind of overarching items I would want to hit on, together. That being said, I won't be physically present at some next week because I'll be in Ames because it was breakfast, or it was at like 8 a.m. and I don't want to get up at 5 to leave from here. I can't do that, guys. So I will already be up in Ames. State of the Student Body address. That's gonna have to do. It's coming soon. We're filming it Friday, and that will probably stand in as my report for this next Sunday meeting. So all the names, you guys will be able to see the student body address. Super excited. Rose is helping me with that. She's the best. Shout out to her. And then just letting you guys know broadly like what you can expect from me in these next 2 weeks. As good as the end of my term. I think ever since I started in this role, I've really put a lot of emphasis in trying to be the best person I can be, and for the most part, to me, that meant putting this job and putting the needs of our students kind of ahead of my own. And at a certain point, that just becomes unsustainable, and you can no longer operate that way without there being consequences. And with only 2 weeks left, I kind of was hoping that I could continue and just push through these last 2 weeks, but I have a thesis to write. I have a senior seminar to write. I got 2 30-page papers I'm writing right now. All sorts of other stuff. And so, unfortunately, NISG will probably be slightly on the back burner because everything else has been on the back burner for probably since last year. So I will still obviously be carrying out my duties, doing the best I can with the transition, all of that, but I hope it's not held against me. I did not upset it early because I need to drive to Cedar Rapids immediately as soon as I can for other things. So just because I'm maybe not 100% focused on the world of NISG these last 2 weeks, I hope you don't take that to mean that it's not still super duper important to me and that I'm not still dedicated to being the best president I can be even in these last moments. So I just wanted to be transparent about that, I suppose. Kudos this week for that. Super excited to see where your initiative takes you, and your excitement and passion for the work is undeniable. It was so great to meet with you the other day. Parting words. It could be tempting to live your life like a prequel and to live as if you're setting up your own story. And once you lose the weight, once you have the money, once you graduate school, once you're in a real relationship, once, then finally you'll begin to live. And everything you do up until that point is some sort of half life. Some unimportant forward you can skip. Don't do this. Inhabit your life completely, sink fully into the wealth of your existence. The power to manifest is in the fearless owning of who you are, so that you can shape where you're going. All right, if there's no questions, I need to drop like $50 on gas and see what happens. So.
With that, we're going to move on to the Director of Finance report, of which, to Derek's request, I will be giving pretty extensive. There's one contingency fund application to vote on tonight. The budgetary process is wrapping up, and you will be voting on the final budget next meeting, period. All right, thank you very much, Derek. Contact information in the folder can be contacted. Moving on to the Director of Governmental Relations report.
Hello, good evening. In the World LLC, we're still working with legislators on the full rate increase to the general funds. Today, I was hoping that by this week we would have an idea of what the Senate, where the Senate is at, and like what their plans to do with that is. But there wasn't an official bill until today, just at the Senate. So hopefully by the end of the week, if not at the beginning of next week, we'll we'll have like the Senate's idea come through. But reassuringly, we did get a hold of Senator Moyer, who's the chair of the Senate Education Appropriations Committee, our clerk today, and he informed us that they do plan to gut the bill that the House presented and I think will make much changes because they really didn't like it on first read. And so that's reassuring. So what that tells me is that the increase won't be zero to the general fund for the three regional universities, and also the 12 million in scholarships is going to change significantly. I assume. I don't know if the scholarship one. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's kind of tough to tell right now, but the zero going up at all is good because it's been zero for 3 years now. 4 years ago, it actually went down. I'm currently working on an op-ed. I was gonna publish it this week, but I ended up not publishing it this week just because I do want to hear what the Senate has to say, just so I can get the full scope of like what's going on with Capitol. I'm working with Nixon on that one. He's actually super helpful, kind of tell me like, give me like tips and things like that. So I'll be working on that. That will probably be in my report next week. Should publish on Monday. I really like my position as Cedar Falls City Council liaison. It's a lot of fun. I was actually in the gym tonight, and the student asked me, he goes, "Are you on the city council?" I'm like, "No, it's like going around a student government with a liaison that we sent." I told them all about it. So like, it's really like I'm gonna say this every week. Like, it's super important to fill this position next year. Look at you, but it's just I don't know. The Cedar Falls, they love it. They love having me there. They love having a student there, and they do value my opinion. Like I'm mostly quiet until they ask me to speak my opinion, and they're always open to hear what I have to say. Both like during meetings and like outside of meetings. It's very cool. Last week I had a typo in there. I actually wrote students, but I meant employees. When I was talking about like we had 1,500 full-time and 1,900 part-time, that was employees. I wrote students and employees, just to clarify that. And 14.4 million payroll per month. Still like that number, I don't know why it sticks in my head. I was at the College Hill Partnership board meeting earlier this week, and they even mentioned it because they watched that you and I Cedar Falls meeting. And just a side note on that, they really enjoyed you and I's vision of what College Hill could look like, because currently it's kind of not the greatest. It's not bad. College Hill is not bad. It's a fun place to go, but there's just a lot of improvements in terms of like what the vision is like moving forward, like expanding College Hill to incorporate 22nd Street. Utilizing the parking garage, putting businesses down there that students want to be a part of, because really students are the ones that fund that little economy right there. And there's just a discrepancy between downtown Cedar Falls and College Hill and just the way that they're treated by the city. And I'm not saying it's like anti-university, no negative sentiment. It's just kind of how it plays out. And so the partnership was really glad to hear from you and I that we have a vision for that. I think Andrew Morse did a really good job explaining that during that meeting. For Earth Day cleanup, Earth Day is April 22nd. I mentioned this last week. I've really done a whole lot of this, I'm not gonna lie. I reached out to some student boards who might want to partner in this. None of them got back to me, and I realized one of the emails was valid, so I gotta find out who the president is and then contact them. But I'm still working with Anton on just like, do we want to print out maps? Do we want to like we got to get garbage bags and supplies that we'll need, and like give gloves to people, like all those good things. So more to come on that. Actually pretty excited for that. External hasn't done an event like that in a while. I can't even remember last one, but external did because of COVID and all those good things, all those other things. But so it'll be good for external, and hopefully in years to come, it's something that external can look at and be like, oh, super easy. We can do that every single year. Kudos goes to Joe Lee. We've had a lot of good conversations in the band just about LT, about the legislator. He's a very, very great wealth of knowledge when it comes to the Iowa legislator. Anytime I can't come up with a representative off the top of my head, Joe knows exactly what I'm talking about. So he's been great this year. I shall leave you with no two snowflakes are exactly the same, probably. That's it. Any questions? Seeing none.
With that, we'll move on to our last guest report for the evening, Director of Public Relations.
Yeah, so I realized I was about
if you ordered advanced to merch, please pick it up. Riders are waiting you up for you. You do need to bring exact cash or check. Not thinking that was the best way to work. Also, if you're interested in a cabinet position, like Micah said, sorry.
You're good, you're good.
They are open and we would love to talk to you about them. Yeah, other than that, I have a really short report. Got to meet with Madison. We're working on one of her initiatives, which is Speak to a Tool, working with student businesses. And yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of the end of it's a little bit sad, a little bit like ending here, and actually will also be the end of my time here at UNI as well. But it's been good, so I look forward to what all the rest of you can do. So, thank you.
With that, we'll move on to my report, just short and sweet as well. So I have a draft for the Combating Misinformation Initiative. I think it's, of course, it's just a draft, but it's, pretty much what I was hoping it to look like, different tabs. It's mainly just videos that we put on there, but they're adding some more text, some more links in the future, but feel free to check it out, it's in my report. I was very impressed, and we said early April, and they got it to me 2 days ago, so faster than I anticipated. So that's also to my kudos is about Eric Jennings. He's the one working on this project on my behalf. I told him all the time, I'm like, please don't do all the work, like let me help you. He's like, nope, I fully got it. You just give me judgment and some critiques. So definitely kudos to him. Couldn't do it without him. So with that, we'll move on to reports from our standing committees, beginning with organization and finance.
We did not meet yesterday.
We did not meet yesterday. Okay, sounds good. All right, external relations, we also did not meet. We kind of met, we didn't have an official meeting, it was just working on the newsletter. Some people came and asked a few questions, clarified a few things about what we're putting in there. And it should be released in early April, so keep your eye out. It's about UNI Data Capital and a few other things, so definitely worth the read. Campus relations, we did not meet. Yeah, and government and legislative affairs also did not meet. So very eventful evening, very eventful week for us. With that, we'll move on to our non-controversial docket, of which there is none. So I will move on to our controversial docket, beginning with the returning piece of legislation, SSB 2022-65, and Galen Chair allows me to present it. Okay, all right, sounds good. SSB 2022-65, returning, it eliminates the current description we have in our bylaws to the chief of staff, and instead implements a new one. So I'm not sure, I read it all through it last time, but not more extensive, but more detailed duties. They take the minutes, help the executive branch with the board of directors, meet with executive branch and board of directors to address needs, emergency planning, I believe is what it was. Emergency crisis management plan, sorry. So yeah, with that, are there any questions on SSB 2022-65? Going one more time. And if not, are there any motions to be recognized for debate or amendment on SSB 2022-65? Going one more time. And if not, that allows me to motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a placard vote. Raise your placard to vote yay on SSB 2022-65. Zoom, you could either raise your hand or say yay, but I don't know if the mic's working. Okay, just put it in the chat because we cannot hear you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I can hear it. Okay, all right, perfect. So with a vote of 12 yays, let me go before I go on. Are there any for nay? And are there any for abstain? All right, with a vote of 12 yea, 0 nay, 3 abstain, SSB 2022-65 is hereby passed. We move on to SSB 2022-66, our last piece of legislation for this evening. Senator Ferguson, or I can do it, yeah. I read over it earlier. Esports is I don't play video games, but I like watching people play. So, SSB 2022-66 is a bill for Panther Esports, a contingency fund request to host a Rocket League tournament in Maucker Union. Nice, that's super cool. They're requesting contingency funds for venue costs. They here request to use $800 from the contingency fund, and the money is allocated therefore. And the money not spent by June 30th, 2022 remains in the NISG contingency fund. Are there any questions on SSB 2022-66? And if not, are there any motions for debate on SSB 2022-66? And if not, I motion the previous question, which allows us to move into a placard vote. Raise your placard for yay or say yay for you, Christelle. I can hear you.
Yay.
Okay, awesome. Raise your placard for nay, and raise your placard for abstain. And if not, SSB 2022-66 passes 12 yay, 0 nay, 3 abstain. With that, move on to old business, of which there is none. So I bring the 23rd regular Senate meeting to adjournment. Speak to Senator Corollas and Bell, please, real fast. Senator Kretzinger as well, please. God, who is doing that? Who is doing that?
It's like you move back.
This was our shortest meeting.
It was short. Yeah. I was looking at the agenda, I'm like, this is short.
I think, oh, no, fine, so fine. I would have that.
Okay.
Because we're not. It's not gonna be, I don't want. Get that done and over with. So we guys have that before Tuesday.
It's 13
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, they're gonna be, some of them are already gonna be sitting at the table. Others, they're gonna be sitting in the back. I'm making the adjourn the 25th is our last Senate meeting, adjourn. We're good.
I wish they kept the lights on.
Caroline Christensen, can I also talk to you? I'm sorry, I'm getting this all done, it's all bureaucratic stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay, sounds good, thank you very much. Yes.
So I'm writing a resolution about national sexual assault. So you want to write it or I see.
And if, honestly, like, I think you did a really good job on that.
It's just that in order for like to be in the Senate, it has to be written by 2 senators.
Yeah, but if you wanna,
Of the banking,
yeah,
I can do that.
but I will not, like, go in and edit and add to it and all that.
Do you want me to be part of this?
Well, yeah,
One question.
I just said, I don't know.
Another one until everyone is same person, and ask another question. Almost everyone else was.
Yeah.
I can do it Tuesday, because I've been doing nothing.
Are we hoping to get it done next month then?
No, he
Before-
wants it Tuesday by Tuesday.
Yeah,
Right.
All the new senators for the next term are here, so they will come in and then I want to be sitting.
I would say,
I will swear in all the new
I might
senators.
have,
I'll have as well.
Will we get this?
Yeah.
I can't do it myself, but she's.
Want to just make it like tonight, but.
if anything,
Should
I,
I,
And then if I have time, I'll go in and edit. I just don't.
okay, there will be an
Use,
application
uh,
process.
So it's like.
you can use our resolution
Directly.
yeah, when I made my one and my question for
And
next
then
meeting,
I heard back.
I just copied and pasted the one from the Juneteenth legislation.
And-
So we always do
As long as that
that.
stuff is in there, as long as that template's in there, I can look in and add to it. Okay, I'll probably do it.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
That's
thanks, yeah, thank you.
Okay. And then by two, by, well, it's like now like Tuesday morning-ish
Yeah,
and then we did it by